I had a person a couple weeks ago ask me on one of my YouTube videos how I managed to make my first $100,000. So in today's video, I thought it would be an interesting topic to kind of dive into, my background, my story so far, and sort of the journey I've been on to, go from almost dropping out of high school basically to now living in an apartment that costs more than some people's annual salaries. But also want to make a quick disclaimer here. This is not to flex or anything like that. I know so many other people who's done more in a shorter time frame than I have, gone from 0 to 100K like real quick, basically. Yeah, people who's just achieved a lot more in a smaller time frame than I have. And as you'll kind of see as I get into the video, I've been at this for quite a long time actually. So this is not to flex at all. This is more so a reminder if you're someone who's starting your entrepreneurial journey that things for most people actually take a long time. Like all the people you see online on Instagram and on TikTok who's, in 1 or 2 years going from making zero to making millions of dollars, those are outliers. Like for most people, it's gonna be a very long and tedious grind. But luckily for me, I'm only 25 and I've been at this for actually quite a while now. So I realized that I still have time to my advantage. I have a lot of years to still work and still be a young self-made millionaire, whatever you want to achieve. So yeah, don't take this video as any sort of flex. Take this video as motivation and sort of a reality hit if you're someone who's trying to, escape the rat race or make a name for yourself or just achieve more financial success. Take this as inspiration and take this as affirmation that it's okay to actually work a long time without seeing any major results. But I promise you, if you just keep at it and you keep doing the actual grind and doing the actual work, if you do that over a long enough time horizon, it's inevitable that you won't get just a little bit of success. But real quick, if you're new to the channel, let me just introduce myself. My name is Rasmus. I'm the owner of Minix. That's a performance marketing agency where we specialize in helping e-commerce brands scale through UGC videos and paid advertising. Also, if you end up enjoying this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. That will massively help me out and I would really appreciate that. And if you have any questions, just leave them down below. I'll read all comments and respond to all questions. So if there's anything you want to chat about, anything you want answered, just leave it down below and I'll happy to get back to you. But with that being said though, let's get straight into it. So we start actually all the way back in 2016, where I was like halfway through high school basically at that point. Graduated in 2017. In Denmark, like the school system is a little bit weird, but basically what we call high school is when I graduated when I was 19 in 2017. So just to give you like an age range. But yeah, I was around 18 years old and I was about to like drop out because I was just sick of school. I didn't feel like I actually got any real value from it. And I was living at my dad's full time there and he also runs his own accounting firm, so I would get exposed to him, running his own business, and I thought that was much cooler. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I had a chat with him and he was like, no, Rasmus, it's better that you just stay in school, at least high school, then you always have something to fall back on. And if you do graduate, then I promise you that you can get this like online marketing course after you graduate. It was like a 6-week course in-house actually. So you would show up to like an actual physical address and they would, teach you about Facebook ads, Google Analytics, SEO, email marketing, like a bunch of different stuff. And so I was like, okay, bet, let's do that. And so I basically just, for the next year and a half, I basically just drank my way through high school because I was like, I just need to get through. I know I can, get the grades that are good enough. I think I ended on like a C, like an average. I think that's in the US what you call like an average grade. But yeah, I basically hated high school, just wanted to get it done with. And then after I graduated, I actually got a job for 3 months as like a secretary in a plumbing business. I would just like get the phone basically for all the customers who would call through. I wanted to, get their toilets fixed and whatnot. Did that for 3 months and then actually remembered, hey, I made a bet with my dad about this online course. Let me see if it's still up. So I confronted him about it and I was like, hey, I would love to get this course if, it's still available. And he was like, yeah, sure, of course, let's do it. So I did that course. I finished the course. You got like a diploma, like a certification. The same day, I think, or the day after, I basically just quit my job. I was like, hey, this is not it for me. I don't want to do a job because I basically hated it. And then I actually started my own e-commerce brand. So I was like, hey, now is the time for me to make some money with this skill that I just learned a little bit about. Look in hindsight, I can see that I knew nothing about Facebook or online marketing at all. But at that point, you know, you have some sort of ignorance that you think you're the best at everything. I was like, hey, okay, I'm gonna make some money with this now. I'll be my own boss and run my own company. So I actually started an e-commerce business where we sold one specific toy for kids, and we were coming up to Christmas at that point. So I was like, hey, this is perfect. So I ordered like 600 of these kid toys because I didn't even know what dropshipping was. Like I was so ignorant. Like I knew nothing about anything. But started my own e-commerce brand, really didn't see any success with it. I think I like broke even, maybe lost a little bit of money, but let's just call it break even. And I hated everything really about that e-commerce business besides the marketing. So I was like, hey, you know, I was a part of a few Facebook groups in Denmark, like entrepreneurs in it. And I saw these people selling, you know, Facebook ads as a service. Like, hey, this I can do. I can just freelance and, you know, get some clients and then make some money that way. Because I really loved the marketing aspect of running the e-commerce business, but I hated everything on the front end, like the customer service or the back end, like packing orders, managing all the website and all the like tax returns you had to file and VAT and all this shit with all the orders you would get in. So it's like, hey, you know, freelancing, just doing the ads, that sounds like a dream. Let me do that. So I posted in a couple Facebook groups and said, hey, you know, I used to run my own e-commerce brand, just looking for a few clients to work for free so I can get some case studies and a good, nice testimonial. That's all I'm asking for you. And yeah, basically got my first like 5 clients, I think, from that. Not everyone ended up being a paying client, but I started making like a little bit of money. And then as I did that for a couple of months, I actually got a gig at a development house. They mainly did like websites, software, like like hardcore coding, basically programming. And they asked me to do marketing for their clients because it wasn't a service they could actually offer. So I did that for them, like part-time or whatever you want to call it, like on a freelance basis for a couple of months. And then they actually asked me, at this time I'm 20, this is 2018, they asked me, hey Rasmus, would you like to become the CMO of our business and then build out our entire marketing team? And then I kind of was confronted with, you know, a choice I had to take of either keep running my own business. At that time, I think I was making like 4 or 5K a month, something like that. Or, you know, go work full-time for a young, basically agency. That was what they were, just a programming agency. And, you know, become CMO at 20 years old. And it was actually quite a lucrative offer. They was like, hey, you know, we'll give you a free MacBook. We'll give you like 15K and sign-on bonus and 5K a month. The only thing is you have to, you know, come into the office and, you know, be a full-time employee and be the CMO and build out the actual marketing team, which is a lot of money, honestly, for a 20-year-old, you know? I was still living with my brother at that point, and 15K and 5K a month just guaranteed. I was like, shit, this is a lot of money, you know? Maybe I should consider it. So I actually considered it for like a week and then came to the decision that for me, it was super important about the money. The most important thing for me was the freedom I actually had from running my own business. And even though, you know, my income would fluctuate and I would some months make like less than 5K a month and sometimes I would make, you know, 5K a month. So even though I would make less money, the freedom from just running my own business was really the main driver of me, you know, wanting to keep running my own agency instead of coming to work full-time for another. So I actually declined the offer, even though it was a shit ton of money for me at that time. So what I did is I continued the agency, but what I realized was that I hated sales. I just wanted to do the marketing. Like that was basically all I care about that time, was just do the actual marketing for the clients and make them happy by generating good results. I hated everything else about the business. I didn't want to do sales, accounting, outreach, like nothing like that. So I actually ended up getting a partner to do the sales for me. And so we worked together for around 9 months before we had to split up. And I think we grew the agency to, like, it was not a lot. It wasn't very impressive, honestly. I think we got up to like 13K a month, maybe even less than that. Also because I have to do like the conversion in my head. But yeah, let's say 10 to 15K a month was kind of like what we did on any given month, but it wasn't recurring, which was a big issue for us because we would sign a lot of clients, but it would be all the wrong clients, all the clients that we could not get results for. So every month we would have, you know, 10 clients come in, let's say, but we would also have 10 clients leaving. So every month it was this constant like hamster wheel. And now we started to have employees and we signed up for an office because, you know, now we were these fancy young guys. You know, we thought we made a lot of money, which we weren't at all, but we had 2 employees, 1 sales guy and 1 to help with the marketing. And then we signed up for an office that was like, I think a little bit less than 2K a month. And right before we moved into that office, we split, and it was a whole shit show, because I don't know if he took some clients with him or what exactly happened. I also remember like we had a bunch of clients just leaving at one time, and I hated doing the sales, so there wasn't really any clients coming in. So it was a whole mess. And I remember we moved into that office, I think me and my partner split like 2 weeks before or something, we had to move in. And we had like $300 on the bank account after I had paid the deposit, I paid the first month of rent, and I paid my employees. And so I was standing in this brand new office, and it was way too big because we were like 3 people in the company now, and it was like 1,200 square feet to 120 square meters, like way too big. And we had $300 on the bank account. I was like, fuck, what am I gonna do? So I basically like lost the entire business because we didn't have a whole lot coming in. Luckily, our expenses was also like sort of low, but I was like, shit, I don't have for myself, right? Like I have no money for like my own salary. I can barely pay the guys and the office. So like, what are we gonna do? But luckily, like we managed to pull through that, and we had only been in the office for a couple of months before I was like, shit, I hate doing sales. Like I started to get that same thought in my head again. And then I got another partner in sales to do the sales for us. And that also ended bad. I think we also worked for like 9 months or something like that, from like 2019. So now we're in like 2019 to 2020, just before COVID hit. We worked together, and it was basically the same story again. Like we signed a bunch of clients we shouldn't have. The agency, there was no recurring lifetime value in any of the clients really. So it was just like, we just kept like spinning our wheels, and I got like super stressed from it. And so we decided to part ways again. But this time we closed down the actual agency. So now I had spent from 2017 to 2020, I had spent 3 years just doing absolutely nothing with my life. That was sort of what I felt like, because now I had no business, I had no income, I had a little bit of savings, but like that was it. So it was a whole mess. Then when we split up from that must have been like April or May 2020 until basically the start of 2021, I did a little bit of freelance for some clients that I could take with me from the old agency. It was like really nothing. I think I was pulling maybe 6K or something like that a month, 7K a month. And they were slowly dropping off. So it was like a dying thing, because I still didn't want to do the sales. I hadn't really made that mind shift change yet. And so I kind of just kept spinning my wheels, made progressively less and less money. And then in January 2021, I started Minix, which is basically the agency I run now. And there I took like a conscious decision. I was like, now I'm not gonna do the marketing, I'm gonna do the sales. This is what my main role is gonna be. And so I started Minix in January 2021, and actually quite quickly got up to making like some okay money, to where I had to like hire a freelancer, because I was like, I need to offload all this marketing work so I can continue doing the sales, because that was like my whole game plan going into it, right? Like I don't want to do the marketing, I want to do the sales, because this is what is so far, at least for the last 4 years at this point, from 2017 to January 2021 when I started the agency, like that has always just been my downfall and what has led me down the wrong path, and then ended up with me losing my business, right? So in 2021, like we peaked at 13,000, I think, a month in 1 month, I should say, in revenue. So like not tremendous growth. As I said in the beginning of the video, like my journey so far is taking like a long time, and like it's not super impressive, honestly, but I think it's interesting for a lot of people to hear. So we did 13K at our peak, or 15K at our peak in 2021. Now this was also like much leaner, and why I'm like more proud of that compared to the first agency I ran with the first sales partner I had, was that I only had like 1 employee and no office, and the contract I had was paid based on like a percentage split. So like my business was much leaner, right? So if I did 15K, like I was maybe pulling in, 10 to 12K a month in profit, compared that to the first agency I had, where, if we did 15K in sales, we might have 5K a month to, split between 2 people, right? So it was like the business metrics was much better. So 13K-ish in 2021, and then 2022, we peaked at a little bit over 30K. And I think on average for that year, we like doubled the business. I think we cracked. And so in 2021, I think we like a little bit more than doubled the business. Also hired like more team members for the business. But yeah, cracked like 30K a month. I think we did 32 or 35K in
2022. And then in 2023 so far, we're up like 60%, I think, compared to last year, and almost cracked 40K a month so far into 2023. So yeah, like that's basically where we are now, but it's a much leaner business compared to the businesses I had before, because there's no real profit in it. Because at least in Denmark, like, we have this sick company, or like office culture and employee culture where you, like, starting salary in Denmark is like 4 or 5 grand. Like, you're not gonna get anyone junior for less than that, really. And plus you have to pay for office, etc., right? So there's a lot of extra cost that I just don't have now. So if you pull in 40K a month, like, I can probably pull 30, something like that, in profit to the company, you know, before we start investing into courses, ads, and stuff like that. But just like on fixed costs, like employees and stuff like that, like it's much more lean. But that's basically where we are now. So this year, as I've made a whole video about, actually, we're trying to crack 100K per month this year, which is gonna be a tall task, but I think it's doable if I just invest the money correctly into the right team members. But yeah, like that's basically it so far. So the way I see my story, if I have to like sum it up briefly to people, it's like 2017 until January 2021, I did fuck all, because in January 2021, I had no business. I had one client, I think. So like, I did nothing. I had nothing going. And so since January 2021 until now, we're in May 2022, you know, I've gone from 0 to just shy of 40K a month. I think we'll comfortably crack 40K a month, 40K in June. But yeah, so let's call it 0 to 40K a month in, what's that, 2.5 years? I certainly know people who's done that in a much shorter time frame. But if you're someone who's out there and you seem like you're struggling, or you feel like you're not doing a lot of progress, take a look at this video, watch it back again one more time, because I did fuck all from 2017 until 2021. And even then, from 2021 to, you know, mid 2023, I've done some progress. Of course I have, and I live very comfortably now, but I could be doing a whole lot more. And what you see on Instagram, honestly, is it's not an accurate representation of what the average entrepreneur, how their growth journey looks like. But I hope you found some real value in this video. I hope it was interesting for you to get sort of a look behind the scenes of how I got here and where I'm at so far. And I'll keep you updated on the future, and, you know, what next milestones we crack, or what we hit, and if we hit the 100K per month this year. But yeah, I hope you found some real value in this. If you have any questions, just leave them down below. I would love to answer. And if you ended up enjoying this video, make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. That would massively help me out. I will appreciate that. And I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.